In their lifetime, 1 in 8 Australian women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. Breast cancer is a disease that in many ways is defined by a statistic. But breast cancer is about more than numbers. Breast cancer is about people. It's about mothers, fathers, sons and daughters. 1 in 8 is more than a statistic. It's a life.
1 in 8 is my wife.
1 in 8 is my mum.
1 in 8 is my sister-in-law.
1 in 8 is my mum.
1 in 8 is me.
1 in 8 is me.
Decided that everybody should be part of the participation committee, and we won't be dedicating an individual subcommittee to participation. We feel that it's all of our responsibility. We all have the ability and the networks to reach far and wide, so let's give you the tools to be able to do that and increase participation at this year's Mother's Day Classic. I think it's a timely reminder just to remember what our strategy is, and the board have given us a strategic statement for the next few years, and it's namely to raise 40 million by 2020, in particular through women in super supported and volunteer driven activities. To get that magical figure, we do need participants on the day, and we do need those participants to fundraise. So that is a key message in what we're going to be doing with regards to tools, in communicating tools to participants. Just a reminder as well, our campaign objectives. We want to differentiate ourselves from other charity events. The Mother's Day Classic is truly unique. For starters, it's on Mother's Day. There are no other events, fun run events on Mother's Day. We are mainly female and we're predominantly walkers, 65%. The other key plus for the Mother's Day Classic is we're about participation at all age levels, all demographics. Everyone can get involved, from generations of families to teams, corporate teams and community teams. So that's our point of difference, and that's who we need to target, those different groups. We are about increasing participation, and we've got some targets for you all here in the presentation today, but we're also about retention. So that speaks to what's happening with regards to the on-the-day experience. The people have a great time and they come back next year. That speaks to retention. We are about earning more revenue, because more revenue means money going to breast cancer research. To achieve that, we need more participants to buy more registrations, to do more fundraising, and we need to welcome more partners to the Mother's Day Classic, either through paid sponsorship or through in-kind support. We're also about better engaging and retaining you guys, our volunteers. You're the people that drive the Mother's Day Classic across the nation, and also engaging our supporters, whether that be employees or corporate firms or community groups. We're about leveraging and advocating the event and the cause for giving. So it's a timely reminder that we're all about breast cancer research, and we want to tell people where that money has gone. But we also want to advocate in our messaging about the event. So prior to the event, tell as many people as you know that the event's a fun experience, there's lots of activities, and it's a great way to spend Mother's Day. And we're all about unifying participants and volunteers across the country and supporters. So the offer for this year's Mother's Day Classic, this is the product, if you like. It's tickets, it's teams, and it's an opportunity to give through fundraising or through donating or through volunteering. So we've got a structure here of the pricing, and to keep it simple, there's early bird, standard and on the day. So across the country, and it will vary from regional events, and it'll vary across the board from that perspective, but all major events, the adult walker, 35, at the early bird, adult runner, to include the timing, is 40, and the concession or child runner, 25, concession child walker, 20. The details are all there, but what's really important from previous campaigns is the ticket's really cheap, and the early bird runs for quite a number of weeks, and it goes until after Easter. So that's something to take advantage of. Get the promotions out there now and tell people that they can buy while the early bird ticket is cheap. They don't really go up to that significant 55 until on the day. And creating teams is another way to encourage participants. to get involved. So whether those community teams, to school teams, to corporate teams, we really want to encourage people to take out and get involved with the largest teams and take out the trophies in every event. We also want to encourage people to fundraise. We want them to donate either before the event or on the day. So there's opportunities to raise some money either through the sausage sizzle or playing in the kids zone. And another way to give and participate in the Mother's Day Classic is through volunteering. So I'm going to hand you over to Daniel, our Comms and Marketing Manager, to talk through our communications strategy.
So this year we've become a little bit more sophisticated with our EDMs. We'll be segmenting our data into runners, families, fundraisers and walkers. So each of those segments will receive different messaging, so the messaging will be more targeted to them. We've also introduced Autopilot, which we'll be using for those email journeys. So as an example, if you enter and donate, you'll drop into a journey where you'll be encouraged through the participation emails that people receive once they've entered, you'll be encouraged to start fundraising. And if you just enter but don't donate or fundraise, your messaging will be more about donating, and then when you do donate, you'll drop into the fundraising journey. Digital and social media will again be play a big role in our participation strategy again this year. We'll be organically posting 6 days a week. That messaging will be ranging from registering to fundraising to creating teams to joining corporate challenges to finding the closest event to you. And we'll also be running weekly advertising schedule on social and Google Ads. So if you click on our website, we will be following you all over the internet. Media again will be a big push for us. We'll obviously be going out to all the What's On sections, pitching stories at metro level. But our big push this year is to grow our regional media through our PR intern program. We've got 7 PR interns who each have been given 3 to 4 regional events, and we'll be working with regional hosts to drive media within the area that they're looking after. Again, our alliances and supporters will be given a supporter pack, which will include posts from us, graphics, infographics that they can use to push out to their networks. Social influencers are the same, and all of both alliances, sponsors and social influencers this year have been given a schedule as to when we want them to post and what we want them to post. Community ambassadors will be sharing their stories with the media, and we'll also be getting them to push out on their social networks also. In our entries this year, we changed the wording of the Tell Us Your Story to what makes the MDC special to you, and we've seen a much higher uptake from people sharing what it is that makes the event special for them. So we'll be dragging out and finding and going through all of those entries to find more community ambassadors for this year.
As you can see from Daniel's national communication strategy, there's a lot of areas being covered in terms of reaching various audiences and encouraging participation. What we would love you guys to do is focus on 3 key areas. We can't be everything to everybody, so we want you to just think about 3 key areas, and we're going to provide you the tools to be able to reach out to these key areas. So we're looking at schools, community groups and corporates. We'll be definitely marketing to all schools, so that will be covered, but that shouldn't stop you from approaching your local school. Ours will be coming from a generated national EDM, but if you can contact any schools that you have, then go for it, because the personal contact is much better. Community groups, we want to target like-minded community groups, so anything from wellbeing, health groups, parents groups, sporting clubs, anything in your network of influence, then we'll be giving you the tools to be able to get the message out there. And finally, corporates, promote in your workplace and approach all the local businesses you know and can connect with. So in the next couple of slides, we're going to give you the tools to promote to those three key areas: the schools, the community groups, and the corporates.
So in the community resources page on the website, if you scroll down, you'll find 3 zip files designed for each one. So if we have a look at the school zip file first, so if you simply click on that, open it up, and then click on the school resources file, and the first document you should click on is Guidelines README. And this document has all the information about what resources we're providing, how to use them, and it just gives you a really simple rundown on what's in the pack and also the best way for you to use it and to contact schools. And I think this is, contact schools, which this is the schools one. And there's also a contact there for our digital marketing coordinator, Rebecca, if you get the opportunity to change the sizes of any of the marketing collateral we've provided. It's just a simple email to Rebecca, and she will change it into whatever size you need. So if we go back up into resources, you'll see first we've got MDC infographics. This includes an infographic on the Most Generous School competition that we'll be running, which is essentially to find the most generous school in Australia. So whichever school donates and fundraises the most will be eligible for a range of prizes. And then we've also got a nice infographic that you can send out encouraging people to create their school team or why they should create their school team. So then if we just go back into the resources, newsletter resources. So in here we did a little bit of market research, and the majority of people involved in schools that we spoke to told us that they'd prefer to see a different range in different sizes of almost an ad or a tile rather than long written pieces of copy to input into a newsletter. So we have included a shorter version of our newsletter written copy, but most of the things we've got in here are just different sizes of an ad that can run in a school's newsletter. So there obviously is an example if there was a school who wanted to run a bit of copy, then we've got that for them as well. So back into the resources, and we've got our social media tiles. So these include everything from join our team to when the early birds are closing. So we'd be hoping that if when a school enters a team, that when they use these social media tiles, that they send them out to parents as well, who can then obviously use them on their social media networks, as well as on the school's social pages. So we've also got I'm fundraising for all the things that we've had in the past, but we're hoping that this will be a much easier way for you to use them, given that they'll all be in the one spot.
And Rebecca can tailor for certain schools. If a school wants to put up the photo of their team and have the MDC branding on it, then we can tailor that as well.
So if we just go back out to the main resources download. Back to downloads.
The toolkit.
Yep, toolkit. And we click on corporate resource, the corporate resource pack. And again, you'll see README, which is the first thing to look at when people open the file. So it's very similar. So each of these are similar to the schools one. So if we go up to resources, you'll see that we've got the infographics again. And they're sort of much more designed to show the different ways that a corporate can be involved, and also, what pledge they can make to us, but what we pledge to them. So what they'll get out of being involved in the Mother's Day Classic as a corporate. So it's the staff engagement piece, the feeling of family, and then there's also the opportunity for staff to go on training walks and training runs together. So the corporate challenge is an easy way. We've just put together an easy infographic for someone to send to their CEO or send straight to an executive who can then enter in the corporate challenge. So it makes it a bit easier for them just to look at it and go, okay, well, this is all I need to do, and then they can enter that corporate challenge. And then we've also got a corporate join our team document, which helps explain to the team captain or to whoever will be the team captain the easiest way to create their team and then grow their team. So then if we go back out into the resources, again, we've got the same newsletter resources, join our team, and then we've got the same banners. If you just click on one of those, they're obviously more tailored towards corporates. So if we go back into resources, you'll see we've got MDC text copy, and that's the corporate newsletter. So that's the content for the corporate newsletter if they would prefer to have it in text. And we've also got in that file another document which talks about how to enter the corporate challenge, which is in case they'd rather it in text than in the infographic form. We've got it in there in both ways. And then in the social media tiles, we've got, again, join our team. We've got a corporate frame that they can put around photos when they post them online, which is an EPS file. I'm early fundraising closing. I'm fundraising for join our team, and also a corporate. Our CEOs or our executive is in the corporate challenge email. Not email, image. So then, if we go into the community group resource pack,
And so the idea, Daniel, is that everybody will get a blurb
Yep.
email that kind of sets the scene that you can adapt.
Yep.
And then you just send on the zip file so that they've got all the resources and they can pick and choose what they need.
Yeah, so the email is a generic one that's encouraging community groups or schools or corporates to be involved. But obviously, if you've got a personal relationship with somebody, you can just say, "Hey, here's the MDC pack to promote the event through your corporate or through your school." So again, we've got infographics for the community groups, which is obviously talking to them about what they can receive from being involved in the MDC and what pledge they can make to us. And then we've also got the instructions on forming a team. So we've tried to create everything to make it as easy as possible for these groups once they receive all this. If there's one or two people who are the drivers within that organisation or that group, that they'll be able to do that quite simply. So newsletter resources again are the same, and social media tiles are the same, but they're just tailored more to community groups.
Okay, thanks Daniel. We've put in the pre-promotion influencer slide just to remind you that it's all about you and your networks, and you are our best influencer. Not only do you advocate for the Mother's Day Classic by being a volunteer, but you also have amazing connections. So even though we've got the National Breast Cancer Foundation and the Athletics Australia with their huge reach, we need your influence and your reach as well. So don't forget to get on Facebook with some of those tiles that you've seen in the zip files, get on LinkedIn, get on Instagram and Twitter, and really spread the word. Just a reminder that there's nothing better than free listings. There's heaps of free listings across the country, so there's plenty of content within those zip files to be able to add that information to free listings on websites, so go to town in terms of promoting the events. And don't forget, a lot of those websites are national, so feel free to sort of put in the national bit or statewide and support your regional and other events across the country. And of course, we're going to have flyers and posters. They are coming soon. And this is how it will look, which I'm sure you'll agree looks fantastic and appeals to the national reach of the Australian events all over Australia, I should say. So that's coming soon. Stay tuned. And just finally, I've added in some participation numbers, some stretch targets for you all that you can take away with your events. And we're just aiming for some events to kind of have a bit of an increase and some more significant. But don't be afraid, Darwin. That is only 100 or 200 participants, or maybe a bit more. So just some stretch targets for you, because if it's measured, we can manage it. So we can really improve on the statistics from last year to this year and hopefully beyond. So thank you for your time today, and if there are any questions or you've got any suggestions on what could be added to the zip files, then you know where to find us, and good luck. Thank you.
So, first and foremost, I trialled being part of the events, actually taking part as a participant, I guess, with family and friends. And, when I started, I do admit I just used to pay for my own entry fee as such, and didn't worry too much about the fundraising side. But learning the mechanics of what goes on in the background, and learning the massive amount of commitment and cost that it takes to run the events, the fundraising is ultimately important, and that is something that I do value today. I'm not a salesperson in any way, and I work in an industry that all believe in Mother's Day Classic, so very fortunate, but at the same time all email each other for donations, so sometimes you're almost competing against the same supporters. And for me, it's really just sharing the story, whether it be through my LinkedIn profile, my Twitter account, Facebook, family and friends. So, using the moments that matter most to remind people. So whether it's Christmas time, Mother's Day itself, is just reminding those around me that, we've come so far, and look what we have achieved over the last 20 years, and we can achieve so much more. So every little bit goes a long way, and would really appreciate the funding that people can contribute to. But it's not only the money side, it's also the volunteering side, which can a lot of the times help us. If it's skilled volunteering, can help us to not have to incur the cost associated with that, which is just as good as the fundraising side.